Welcome to Infidelity Truths. Before we dive into today's gripping story, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us create more thrilling stories just for you. Let's begin.
I never imagined a single business trip would become the moment that unraveled my entire life. My name is Sierra Thompson, and I'm 34 years old. Looking back now, I realize how fragile everything truly was. How the life I thought was stable and safe could be shattered by one reckless decision. For 11 years, I was married to Derek Thompson, a quiet, dependable man who worked as a financial analyst for a top investment firm. On the outside, we were the perfect suburban couple, 2 healthy kids, a beautifully maintained home, and a peaceful neighborhood where everyone waved as they passed by. I stayed home with our children, 8-year-old Liam and 5-year-old Ava. I kept the household running smoothly. Playdates, packed lunches, folded laundry, teacher meetings. The smile I wore in public became second nature, like a mask I'd forgotten how to take off. Underneath that mask, though, I was slowly fading. Derek wasn't a bad husband. He was stable, responsible, and he loved the kids with everything he had. But somewhere along the way, we lost each other. We stopped touching, talking, existing as more than co-managers of a life built around routine. I felt invisible, trapped beneath layers of motherhood and wifely obligation. I longed to feel seen again, so when the opportunity came for a work conference in Denver, I told Derek it was just a professional development trip. Nothing unusual, but I wasn't looking for career growth. I was searching for something that made me feel alive again. I didn't expect to find Caleb, a charming, 39-year-old travel photographer, with captivating eyes and a voice that made the air feel different. We met at the hotel bar. At first, it was innocent, just drinks, laughter, stolen glances. But the chemistry was immediate and dangerous. I told myself I wouldn't cross the line, but somewhere between shared secrets and the way he touched my hand, I stepped into territory I couldn't come back from. The affair lasted 3 nights, 3 intoxicating nights that made me forget I was a wife, a mother, a woman with responsibilities. I became someone else with Caleb. I was bold, spontaneous, desirable. But what I didn't realize was that while I was escaping reality, the walls of my real life were slowly closing in. When I returned home, Derek looked at me differently. I tried to convince myself it was just guilt making me paranoid. But it wasn't. Derek was watching, observing. He was always analytical, but now he was methodical, quiet, cold. A few weeks later he confronted me. Calmly, he had tracked my phone, found the hotel receipts, and somehow even had copies of the messages I thought I'd deleted. He didn't yell. He simply asked, "How long?" I couldn't speak. I couldn't lie. And in that silence the damage was done. He moved into the guest bedroom. The kids sensed something was wrong, especially Liam, who started acting out in school. Ava clung to me more than ever, her drawings showing a fractured family, mommy and daddy standing on opposite sides of a page, with her and Liam in the middle. The divorce papers came silently one morning, left on the kitchen counter beneath a cup of coffee I hadn't made. Derek had already seen a lawyer, already divided assets, already determined custody. I had no idea how thorough and brutal this would become. What hit hardest wasn't just losing my marriage. It was realizing how unprepared I was. I hadn't worked in nearly a decade. All the finances, every bill, credit card, mortgage, were in Derek's name. I was a ghost in our financial life. Invisible. Caleb, of course, was long gone. The excitement he offered couldn't survive reality. He didn't return my calls, didn't answer my emails. I was nothing more than a memory of adventure for him, a woman he could forget. Derek, on the other hand, didn't rage. He strategized. He froze our joint accounts, hired the best custody lawyer in town, gathered every text, every expense, every careless purchase I'd made. He built a case that portrayed me as unstable, reckless, and undeserving of our children. My mother refused to support me. "You made your bed," she said when I called her crying. "Now lie in it." Only my younger brother Jared still spoke to me. He tried to help bringing groceries, babysitting the kids on my visitation weekends. But the damage was already spreading. My first job interview was humiliating. A junior marketing role that paid barely enough to cover daycare. The interviewer looked at my outdated resume and frowned, barely hiding her pity. 9 years as a stay-at-home mom had erased everything I once was. Meanwhile, Derek was creating the perfect image of a single father. He hired a nanny, put the kids in therapy, made sure their routines remained stable. To the court he was Superman. To the children, He was the calm in the storm. The judge didn't even need to think long. Supervised visitation every other weekend. Mandatory counseling. Proof of steady employment. I sat in that courtroom feeling like I was disappearing. Liam wouldn't look at me. Ava sat in Derek's lap, clutching his shirt like a life raft. I moved into a one-bedroom apartment on the edge of town. No garden, no playroom, no dishwasher. On my weekends with the kids, I tried to pretend everything was okay. We played board games on the floor. I read bedtime stories with a smile that barely held back tears. They loved me. I could still see it in their eyes, but it was different now. They were cautious. Their love was quiet, conditional, like they were waiting for me to prove something. Months passed. I picked up freelance work, built a small network of clients, and started slowly clawing my way back. Counseling helped, though it didn't erase the guilt. My therapist, a sharp but compassionate woman named Dr. Eileen, helped me unpack years of resentment, neglect, and buried rage, not just toward Derek but toward myself. One night, while washing dishes in my tiny apartment, Ava asked, "Mommy, why don't you live with us anymore?" Her voice was soft. I turned to her, the soap suds dripping from my hands, and felt a sharp ache in my chest. "Because I made a mistake," I said honestly, "but I'm trying really hard to fix it." I knew I'd never get back the life I had, and truthfully, I didn't want it anymore. But I wanted to earn back my children's trust. I wanted to become someone they could be proud of. Not the woman who chased excitement and lost everything, but the one who rebuilt her life brick by brick. Derek never gloated. He didn't have to. His composure was his weapon. He won the court's respect and the children's trust not by fighting, but by staying steady. I learned the hard way that passion fades, but consequences endure. Caleb was just a spark. Derek was the firewood that kept the home warm. Even if I didn't feel the heat anymore, I lost everything for a few moments of feeling alive. But now, I'm building a new life. One that I hope someday my children will look at and say, "Mom messed up, but she fought to come back." And maybe, just maybe, that fight will be enough. 6 months had passed since the divorce was finalized. My apartment still felt temporary, like I was just a guest in my own life. The walls were bare, the furniture was mismatched, and the air often echoed with silence. But it was mine. Every bill I paid, every grocery trip, every night I sat alone in the quiet, it was all mine. It wasn't the life I had before, but it was a life I was learning to own. Liam and Ava were adjusting in their own ways. On the surface, they seemed okay. They laughed with Derek, flourished under the structure of his home, and went about their routines with a sense of stability. But on my weekends, I caught glimpses of the damage. Ava's hesitation before hugging me, Liam's short answers when I asked about school. They were still wary, still healing. I didn't push them. I didn't force connection. I showed up, on time, with their favorite snacks, with games, books, and most importantly, consistency. My counselor, Dr. Eileen, told me rebuilding trust takes time, and not to expect it to happen in grand gestures. It's in the quiet moments, the invisible ones. Still, I was haunted by guilt, by the memories of what I'd thrown away for Caleb, the man who never reached out again. I had searched his name once foolishly. He was traveling through Europe, sharing vibrant, curated snapshots of sunsets and street food on his Instagram. Not a single trace of me, or the chaos he left behind. I was just a blur in his story, but in mine he was the start of everything falling apart. One rainy Tuesday, I bumped into Derek at the school pickup line. We hadn't spoken outside of custody arrangements in weeks. He nodded politely, his face unreadable. "Hey," I said cautiously. He looked at me, then at the kids in the distance. "Hey." There was a long pause between us. Not angry, just tired. "You look okay," he said, eyes slightly softening. I smiled faintly. "I'm trying." He nodded again. "I can see that." For a second, it almost felt like we were two people who had once known each other deeply, and now, just two strangers with shared memories and children. That weekend something shifted. Ava brought me a drawing. A picture of the three of us smiling. No space between us this time, just joined hands. I nearly cried. Then Liam, usually distant, asked if I could come to his school's parent-teacher night. "Dad's going," he added quickly, "but I want you to come too." I nodded, speechless. I'd love to. It wasn't forgiveness, not fully, but it was something close, a crack of light. Months turned into a year. I found steady work doing marketing for a local nonprofit. I moved into a better apartment with 2 bedrooms, so Liam and Ava didn't have to share the couch anymore. I even started saving, not much, but enough to know I was finally standing on my own. Derek and I found a strange rhythm, co-parenting with calmness, mutual respect, and occasional conversations that didn't end in silence. We were never going to be what we were, but we were learning to be something better for the kids. One day I received a message request on Facebook from Caleb Pierce. My heart skipped. I stared at the screen. He had sent a simple message. Hey, just checking in. How have you been? I closed the app. He didn't get to check in now. He didn't get to peek into my life like I was a chapter he could reread when bored. I had already paid the price for those moments. I wasn't that woman anymore. Instead, I picked up my phone and texted my kids. Can't wait to see you both this weekend. I'm making tacos and watching your favorite movie. Love you so much. A minute later my phone buzzed. Liam, cool. Save me the front seat on the couch. Ava, love you more, mommy. And that was enough. I may have lost everything once, but slowly, through the ashes of a mistake, I found something stronger myself. And this time, I wasn't going to lose her again. The moral lessons from Sierra's story: 1. One moment of weakness can have lifelong consequences. Sierra's impulsive decision led to the unraveling of her marriage, family, and stability. This teaches the importance of thinking through actions and considering their long-term effects. 2. Never become completely dependent on another person, especially financially. Sierra had no income, credit history, or financial independence. Her situation reminds us to always maintain some level of self-reliance, even in marriage. 3. Excitement is fleeting. Real commitment is what holds families together. The thrill with Caleb was temporary. What lasted was Derek's consistency and dedication. It shows that passion without responsibility is empty. 4. Children absorb more than we think. Liam and Ava sensed everything. The tension, the emotional distance, the changes. This underlines how adult actions deeply impact children's mental and emotional well-being. Trust, once broken, is hard to rebuild, but not impossible. Sierra's slow progress with her kids shows that while forgiveness is not immediate, consistent effort can heal damaged relationships over time. 6. Personal growth can come from pain. Sierra lost almost everything, but she used the pain as fuel to become independent, responsible, and emotionally mature. Failure can be a teacher if we choose to learn. Not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay. Caleb was a distraction, not a partner. The story reminds us to be careful who we allow into our hearts, especially when we're emotionally vulnerable. 8. Actions speak louder than apologies. Sierra couldn't fix everything with words. It was her changed behavior, her effort, her presence, and her growth that slowly earned her kids' respect again.
Thank you, my amazing subscribers. Wow, what a journey. If you've made it to the end of this story, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. Your support means everything to me. Every time you watch, like, and comment, you're helping keep this channel alive and growing. And trust me, the best is yet to come. I see all your comments. I feel your love, and I truly appreciate each and every one of you. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button and drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you think. Your thoughts and feedback inspire me to create even more powerful stories. And if you haven't already, subscribe and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a new upload. More shocking twists, emotional journeys, and real-life lessons are on the way, and I don't want you to miss a single one. Together, we're building an incredible community, and I'm so grateful to have you on this journey with me. Stay strong, stay inspired, and remember, sometimes life's greatest lessons come from the most unexpected moments. See you in the next story.